Forgive us, Lord, for forgetting your sacrifice. Forgive us for using the cross as a brand, forgetting the agony it represents, for being callous to human cruelty, forgetting that every victim is your beloved child, for being nonchalant about injustice, forgetting that it still nails innocence to the cross. Forgive us, Lord, for thinking that sacrifice is obsolete, forgetting that we still contend against the powers of darkness. Friends, thank you for being a part of our Good Friday service. Thank you to all who have participated in this work. Welcome.
God, forsaken alone, groaning, the psalmist cried out all day long and all through his restless night. Where have you gone? Where is your throne, God? You, our holy ancestors, they trusted you were there. Despised, scorned, no more than a dirt-bound worm. Mocked, taunted. God, are you there? You were there at my birth. You have been with me ever since. Do not leave me now. There is no one else to help me. Bulls circling, lions roaring, thirsty, broken, melting, empty dogs circling, scavenging, tearing my clothes, gnawing at my bones. Do not leave me now for the dog's teeth, the lion's mouth. God, rescue me, please, my holy, sacred home. Bring me home. You are God, you alone. I live for you. I die for you. I live, you live. Amen.
This is a reading from the Gospel of Matthew 27, verses 45 through 51. From noon on, darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m. And about 3 o'clock, Jesus cried with a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? When some of the bystanders heard it, they said, This man is calling for Elijah. At once one of them ran and got a sponge, filled it with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink. But the others said, Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to save him. Then Jesus cried again with a loud voice and breathed his last.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
The madman jumped into their midst and pierced them with his eyes. Whither is God? He cried. I will tell you, we have killed him, you and I. All of us are his murderers. But how did we do this? How could we drink up the sea? Who gave us the sponge to wipe away the entire horizon? What were we doing when we unchained this earth from its sun? How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled to death under our knives. Who will wipe this blood off us? What water is there for us to clean ourselves? What festivals of atonement, what sacred games shall we have to invent?
Were you there when they pierced him in the side? Were you there? Were you there when they pierced him in the side? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they pierced him in the side? Were you there?
That was indeed his body. But where is his soul? In what shoreless beaches? In what waterless depths of the sea? On the bottom of what dark flames does it drift about? Suddenly, all of them standing around the gallows know it. He is gone. Immeasurable emptiness, not solitude, streams forth from the hanging body. Nothing but this fantastic emptiness is any longer at work here. The world with its shape has perished. It tore like a curtain from top to bottom without making a sound. It fainted away, turned to dust, burst like a bubble. There is nothing more but nothingness itself. The world is dead. Love is dead. God is dead. Everything that was a dream dreamt by no one. The present is all past. The future is nothing. The hand has disappeared from the clock's face. No more struggle between love and hate, between life and death. Both have been equalized, and love's emptying out has become the emptiness of hell. One has penetrated the other perfectly. The nadir has reached the zenith. Was that lightning? Was the form of a heart visible in the boundless void for a flash as the sky was rent, drifting in the whirlwind through the worldless chaos, driven like a leaf? Or was it winged, propelled and directed by its own invisible wings, standing as lone survivor between the soulless heavens and perished earth? Chaos, beyond heaven and hell, shapeless nothingness behind the bounds of creation. Is that God? God died on the cross. Is that death? No dead are to be seen. Is it the end? Nothing that ends is any longer there. Is it the beginning? The beginning of what? In the beginning was the Word, to be seen. Is it the end? Nothing that ends is any longer there. Is it the beginning? The beginning of what? In the beginning was the Word. What kind of word? What incomprehensible, formless, meaningless word? But look, what is this light glimmer that wavers and begins to take form in the endless void? It has neither content nor contour, a nameless thing, more solitary than God. It emerges out of pure emptiness. It is no one. It is anterior to everything. Is it the beginning?
Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree?
Then hell, receiving Satan, the prince with sore reproach, said to him, O prince of perdition and chief of destruction, Beelzebub, the scorn of the angels and spitting of the righteous, why would you do this? You would crucify the King of glory, and at his death promised us great spoils. Like a fool, you knew not what you did. For behold now, this Jesus has put to flight by the brightness of his majesty all the darkness of death, and has broken the strong depths of the prisons, and let out the prisoners and loosened them as they were bound. And all that were sighing in our torments do rejoice against us, and at their prayers our dominions and vanquished, and our realms conquered. And now no nation of men fears us any more. And beside this, the dead, which were never usually proud, triumph over us. And the captives, which never could be joyful, threaten us. O Prince Satan, father of all the wicked and ungodly and renegades, why would you do this? They that from the beginning until now have despaired of life and salvation, now are none of their usual roarings heard, neither do any of their groaning sounds in our ears. Nor is there any sign of tears upon the face of any of them.
Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Were you there? Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Were you there?
Down through the tomb's inward arch, he is shouldered out into limbo, to gather them dazed from dreamless slumber, the merciful dead, the prophets, the innocents just his own age, and those outnumbered others, waiting here unaware in an endless void he is ending now. Stooping to tug at their hands, to pull them from their sarcophagi, dazzled, almost unwilling. That done, there must take place that struggle no human presumes to picture. Living, dying, descending to rescue the just from shadow, were lesser travails in this. To break through earth and stone of the faithless world, back to the cold sepulchre, tear-stained, stifling shroud, to break from them back into breath and heartbeat and walk the world again. Closed into days and weeks again, wounds of his anguish open, and spirit streaming through every cell of flesh, so that if mortal sight could bear to perceive it, it would be seen his mortal flesh was lit from within now, and the aching for home. He must return home first, in divine presence, and know hunger again, and give to humble friends the joy of giving him food, flesh, and honeycomb.
Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they laid him in the tomb?
At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom. The earth shook, and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised. Now when the centurion and those with him who were keeping watch over Jesus, they were terrified and said, "Truly, this man was God's son." Many women were also there. Looking on from a distance, they had followed Jesus from Galilee and had provided for him. When it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn in the rock. He then rolled a great stone to the door of the tomb.
We never would have wished it to come to this. Yet we call these moments holy, as we hold you. Holy the tending, holy the winding, holy the leaving as in the living. Holy the silence, holy the stillness, holy the turning and returning to earth. Blessed is the one who came in the name. Blessed is the one who laid himself down. Blessed is the one emptied for us. Blessed is the one wearing the shroud. Holy the waiting, holy the grieving, holy the shadows and gathering night, holy the darkness, holy the hours, holy the hope turning towards light.